I want to talk to you about the most important trait that you can have in this business or any other business or in life in general, or at least one of the most important traits, and that's consistency. Consistency is something you're going to hear us talk about over and over and over because it's so very important. You know, how do you amass wealth? Through consistency. How do you pay bills off? How do you pay off a house or pay off a car? Through consistency, by doing the same thing over and over and over again. I'll tell you a funny story about myself. This happened to me probably 6 or 7 years ago, but I owned a vehicle that I bought new. And I remember when I bought it thinking, oh, it's so much money. It's more money than I've ever spent on the vehicle. And how will I ever get this paid for? And how I did it through consistency. Every month I wrote a check, I sent it in, and I paid for it. And before long, time just slipped away from me. And I paid on it for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And then before I knew it, it was 5 years. But through consistency, I paid that vehicle off. And it's the same way with a house, or it's the same way with anything. And I remember one Friday, I was sitting in my house and I was going through the mail. I had just checked the mail and I was going through it, and I noticed I had a letter from the company that I paid every month. And I kind of started thinking, I said, well, I wonder why they're sending me a letter. And I opened the letter and it was the title to the vehicle. It was mine. I owned it. But with the title, there was a check for overpayment, because I was so used to consistently paying the note on the vehicle every month that even after it was paid off, I didn't even think about the fact that it was paid off. I just was so consistent. I wrote a check every month for the same amount, sent it to the same place, put it in the same type of envelope, the same day of every month, the first of every month, consistently, so much that I didn't even think about it anymore. It just happened, and I just laughed about it. They sent me the title and they sent me a letter and a check and said, your car, basically what they were saying is it's paid for. You don't have to send us any more money. But because of consistency, I was just so used to doing it that I did it over and over. It's like going to the gym to work out. It's not, I don't even think about it anymore. It's just consistently. I do it. It's something that's part of my daily routine. Yeah, there's times I miss it, but it's very rare because it's consistency. Same thing with your work and what you do. You just got to be consistent. If you want to be successful, be consistent. It's not the people with the most talent. It's not the people, a lot of times that have the best education or you would look at and think that, hey, they're going to be super successful. Listen, it's the consistent people day in and day out that get up every day and they do it. They work the system and they're consistent. I read Zig Ziglar one time said this. He said, I went to the doctor and I was overweight. And the doctor said, you got to lose 20 pounds. And Zig said, well, this is what I did. He said, I lost a half a pound every week for, 40 weeks. And that's how I lost the 20 pounds. Took me almost a year, but I just was consistent. I didn't try to do it overnight. I didn't try to, he said it was almost, I did it so slow that most people didn't even notice it or recognize it, the people that were around me every day, that I was losing the weight, because it was just a little bit at a time every week, but I was consistent with it. Listen, consistency will get you everything in life that you need. Quit worrying about where you are, or where you're not, or where you've gotten up to this point, or where you think you should be. Just start today and make the decision. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to work the process. We've got a simple process here. If you want to sell life insurance, you're going to have to make your first call every day by 9 o'clock, and you're going to have to work until dark 30. I didn't invent this system. I didn't come up with this system. It's a system that we adopted because it works. It's a system of consistency, and you've got to do it starting on Monday. You've got to do it 3 to 4 days every week until you hit the numbers that you have to hit. But if you'll work the 20 leads, and you'll start every day at 9 o'clock, and you'll work to dark 30, and you'll do this at least 4 days a week, and then if you want to build a team, spend the other days just consistently recruiting. I remember when we started really amping up our recruiting, we had to make call after call. I remember making up to 35, 40 calls a day some days, and we still do that. And it wasn't like we hired 35 or 40 agents that day. A lot of times, we would talk to 30 or 40 people and no one would even be interested, but consistently we just kept doing it, and we kept doing it, and the ball started rolling and the momentum started coming. But it's through consistency. Be consistent. Look at the areas in your life and look at the days that you've been consistent and how well you did, and the days that you've been inconsistent, and look what happened. Get consistent day in and day out. Same thing over and over. It's not about having those big days. We thank God for the big days where you write $200, $300, $400 in premium. Great. But stay consistent. Don't take the next day off and say, I had a great day yesterday, I'm going to take it down. Just stay consistent. And I promise you, it'll add up at the end of the year. You will get there. You want to go to Mexico, or you want to go to, we got a trip coming up to Cabo. How do you get to Cabo? Through consistency. It's not about trying to write 30,000 in premium next week. No, it's about writing 30,000 in premium every single month on a consistent basis. This is how you build real wealth. This is how you build, really put some money in the bank, by being consistent. So what is the word? Be consistent. Consistency is the key to breakthrough in any area. If you'll just be consistent, you will be fine. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad weeks. You've heard us say this before. Justin said it like this, and I love the way he puts it. He says, you're going to have bad days in this business. You're even going to have bad weeks in this business. But if you'll stay consistent, you'll very rarely, if ever, have a bad month, because consistency fixes almost everything. Thank you.